yeah, see what's to be seen in the currency pairs. Obviously, this week there's some news announcements after the end of the month, which is obviously tomorrow morning. We'll do all the books, but we've got the RBA tomorrow and ECB coming out on Thursday night, and unemployment also on Thursday night. So a bit of fun later in the week, but otherwise it's there's really not that much to look at for the week, but that's big enough anyway. As we can see, there's all sorts of others. Yellen speaking on Wednesday night, just before non-farm. Interesting. Okay, so that's where we're at with the calendar. People be aware of that for the fun and games that can be around the central banks. So we'll go through the Aussie crosses. Obviously here what we're looking at is Aussie just going nowhere. This big resistance area off the these lows here, 93.90, 94 area is quite a large support resistance line, and it's just not having enough legs to get through it at this stage, and the momentum has worn down. I'd prefer to be sort of trading it from down here and having momentum at the lower end of the scale. So I'll be sitting on that one and waiting for something to appear. Aussie CAD, here we're in a trend, we're obviously in a downtrend. There's the Canadian being stronger at the moment. We're not yet overdone, so we could potentially look at opportunities not there, and not there really yet either. You're at the phase 2 stage, but that's something you can keep an eye on. There's a little bit more to go on the downside. Maybe parity might pull it up, which is 50 pips. So if you're looking at getting in, you'd want something around a 10-15 pip stop and targeting that parity level if there's an opportunity that arises later in the day. Aussie Swiss still in phase 2. Found that support levels right on it at the moment. The next support level and the end of phase 2 you'd expect to be around here somewhere. That high, both the moving averages, and if you do your fib, it's probably around the 50, or the 618. So that's just being patient with that one and waiting for that to set up. Aussie Yen also doing a phase 2, but it's really failed to sort of push on through that level there, 96.20 area, and that's, you can see that sort of struggling to get through the horizontals in a lot of the pairs that we're looking at on the Aussie. I'm not sure if I'd want to buy into the Aussie here at this point. I think I'll be leaving that alone. Aussie Kiwi, the perpetual pain in the ass, this one. It should be higher, but it's just not wanting to go there. Yeah. I mean, what is this? Class C divergence. Lower highs, lower lows. And if you get a horizontal, you've got your Fibonacci extensions. It did poke its nose into the cell area. If we look at it this way, it's also just in the sell area. So there is a reason to trade this as a whether you're trading it as a range or a phase 2 reversal. You've got the divergence and you've got the extension. It's a tricky one though. I've tried to buy this a couple of times and it hasn't worked out. So people were looking at getting in around here. Again, I like it. It's been, as we can see, wasn't as quick as this, obviously, retracement, but it's certainly something that should be working off here. It's tricky, that one. I'm not sure if I'd want to take that either. Aussie Sing, not much there, just going sideways. Euro Aussie is the same as the Aussie Swiss. We've to have look at it up around here somewhere. This is just convergence. There was no divergence. Put that in there, and it's somewhere around here that you're wanting to be getting. And there's somewhere. Should be the opportunity if we're patient for it. Okay, pound Aussie, nothing's happening. It's, RSI is right in the middle at 51. It's right on the 50 EMA. 50 EMA is flat. It's just what do we got here? A high, higher low, then a higher high, then a lower low. Then it's just chopping either side of the 50, and it's not giving us any opportunity. Not worth looking at this stage. Okay, so over the cable itself, it too is struggling to get through this resistance level, this high, this low, on 70-30 area. There wasn't real divergence, and there still isn't divergence. This is now convergence. But with the momentum up here, already this high, and we're across this resistance level. It's I don't think it's going to have the legs to hold above it. Prefer to see a pull back, perhaps to this area here. Look for a pullback into there before getting on board. This, somewhere in there, is where you'd be targeting your potential entry for long. Don't know if you'd be trading a phase 2 on this one because you don't have the divergence. Yeah. Pound Aussie we looked at. Pound CAD. Well, this one was in a famous range for a long time. Across here, 4 or 5 years. Broke out of it and now looks to be in another range, which you can see there clearly on the weekly. Is your moving average flat? Well, hasn't really gone anywhere. So you could argue that yes, it is. We're on the horizontal right now. What we don't have though is divergence. We're on the 1.272. We don't have the divergence yet. So again, patient and waiting for that. If you believe that this is now in a downtrend and maybe cycling down, well, again, there's nothing there for you. You need to wait for it to pull back and set up for a new phase 1. Okay. Pound Swiss, it's in phase 2, an inside seller bar, the current seller bar at the moment. We're just doing a phase 2. There wasn't no real divergence there, and again we've got convergence. It's just pulling back. Again, wait for it to give you a buy signal if you're looking to take this long, which is the same as this one. The Euro Pound is doing its phase 2, and you'd be looking for it to short in here somewhere off the 50. Okay. Pound Yen. Pound Yen is also phase 2, and similar to a lot of the yen crosses, failed to sort of really break through any highs. Yeah, it's been a pretty strong resistance there for almost 2 years now. Across there at 73.60 area. If it does give you a buy signal in here, it might be something looking at, because if it breaks through the 73, obviously that long-term resistance should have a bit of a run. Yeah. You guys still with us? You're all pretty quiet. No emails, no calls, no conversation. Need for a boring little seminar. Pound Kiwi. Just listening. Cool. Thanks. Pound Kiwi. Oh, look at that 200. And the 50's right on it. Just charts are a bit boring. Yeah, the charts are a bit boring, I agree. There's a bit of divergence there. I'd rather leave that alone. Euro pound, we've got a pound sing. There's not much going on there either. Euro, this one is potential opportunity here, and leading up to the ECB on Thursday. You'd expect them to, they're not going to be trying to strengthen their currency. If you get that horizontal cross there, this is the area that I've been looking to short at, and we're getting closer to it. Fridays was a pretty bullish bar in the last 5 hours of trading in the US. And yeah, I'll be looking for a potential entry here over the next couple of sessions. In front of the ECB, we won't be taking on a huge amount of risk, but I'll be certainly looking for an opportunity to get short. From a fundamental and technical point of view, I think that's a good idea. Too cold in Sydney to do anything. Fair enough. I'll be back down there in 2 weeks. Not looking forward to it. Do you have any trades on? Yeah, I do. I'm long the euro pound. And that's all I've got on at the moment. Could we have a look at the breakout type of strategy for the pound Aussie? Yeah, it could. I don't see any sort of breakout strategy there. Let me just go back to it. No, there's not. I mean, you've got literally that across there, and then what have you? Yeah, there's not much in it, to be honest with you. Not much I'm seeing. Not much that I want to see. You could look at it like that, and trade it as it breaks from here. It might be in there though. That could be what it's doing. To me, there's not anything worthwhile here. What I'd like to see is take all that off and see a sort of move, a clear phase one, retest, and when it does that like this here, it's done that phase one and come back to the 50, it's failed. However, if it does that, it comes back to the 50 and you get an entry signal, then you'd be looking at it. Okay. Yeah, well, it is going sideways, and so is the pound Kiwi, but it's not something I'd look to trade. I'd try to trade the Kiwi in a range the other day, and yeah, that didn't work out too well. So I'm staying away from range trading now on. As soon as Aussie falls, this would rise. The pound Aussie, yes. Pound Aussie, if it falls, which potentially could. This, as the Aussie weakens, this pair would strengthen. Yeah. Okay. So back to the euro, wanting to get short, being patient, waiting for it. Euro Aussie, we've sort of covered it. It's doing its phase 2. Euro CAD. This one is one that I've been trying to get into for the last 500 pips. It's overdone here. There's still no real divergence. Still full of sellers, but you'd expect the euro to have a bit of a pullback. Maybe if it gets to the 20, I'd have another look at it. But clearly, there's this long trend that I think heading back down towards the mid 30s, so there's still plenty of time to participate in it. It just hasn't been able to give us the correct signal, or for me the correct signal anyway. Euro yen. Sheesh. What do you do here? It's out in the middle of nowhere for me. It's like you can't buy this, you can't sell it. Not there anyway. It's nothing to any strong enough buying area, and there's nothing really strong enough to sell it either. So I'll leave that one alone. This one, yeah, had given divergence, and I think a few people got in on this day because it was a higher high, and immediately turned around and probably stopped us out. There is divergence again. That's why we only do 0.5% when you're trading against the trend. If you still are trying to do a phase 2 trade, there is that potential. You've got that divergence there. You should have your extensions. Should be an extension zone. 1.618 held it. The last thing we need is just a strong horizontal, and what do we have? Not really. Potentially, yeah. A nice round number of $1.50, but that's something that you could look at tomorrow. The Kiwi is coming off a bit. I had some data this morning which wasn't crash hot. I just wouldn't want to be long euro for too long. I don't think the euro is going to have that much strength left in it for too much longer. The sound and video seem to be pretty good today. How did you fix it? I sort of got to work my way around it by using a different program to record. I'm not using the GoToWebinar software to record, so it's just using the normal. I'm just using the webinar to do the live, and using another program to record. So because the internet still failed to have its the internet still. I hope it's recording the video. Can't see the. Record. Yeah, I hope it's recording. It says it's recording. You scare the shit out of me now. Right, Euro knock. Yeah, look, could potentially set that up for a phase 2 trade. Again, you've got class sort of B divergence and class C divergence. Certainly overdone, and there's if you're needing to start the quarter off with a decent trade, that's probably not the one to be doing it. Here there's maybe a new trade for a phase one. If you get this bar as a seller bar, lower high, lower low tomorrow. Still in phase one. It's just boring. Might be able to do a phase one south on that. Inside bar, nothing there just yet. Still in phase two, and still in phase one with no divergence yet. So that's the euro. Looking at others, the others we've got the CAD Swiss inside bar. This is like the euro CAD. No real divergence yet. Still sort of moseying along. No entry opportunity. CAD Sing. I don't know if any of you guys are still long this. I know I'm not, because I got stopped out under this test bar, which was disappointing because it kept going. Still long, good. Well, you got every reason to stay long. You had two buyer bars though. Your stop should be underneath this here, so it's well traded. Good stuff. Swiss Sing. Yeah, like the euro dollar, you could probably start to look setting this up as a new phase one potentially. QE CAD. Look. Might be a trade here. Might look at this tomorrow. Here your stops there, depending on where this bar finishes. It might be worth having a look at tomorrow. Kiwi Swiss, yeah, it's doing phase two, isn't it? Again, you might have a look at that tomorrow. 90 pips, and that risk reward's not worth it. But Kiwi CAD, yeah, I'll have a look at that one. What's the keep an eye on that. Add that to my list. Okay, let's go into the end before we finish off with the US. There's a lot of PMI news this week. Yeah, there's a few PMIs. They give you a bit of intraday volatility, but nothing. They're not going to swing the market around. Kiwi Yen. Yeah, it's doing its phase two. Its dollar yen is phase one, but well overdone. Probably getting towards the end of it, especially with this support zone here around 101.30, 101. CAD yen, yeah, it's doing phase two, or it's starting to. What do we peak here at 84, so there's a bit of divergence there. You'd expect it to come back and test this line here, and that's when you look to take it long again. Swiss yen, like the euro yen out in the middle of nowhere. Kiwi yen phase two, pound yen phase two, Aussie yen phase two, peso yen potentially phase one, NOK yen, well, definitely in phase phase 1. Sing Yen, phase 1, getting overdone. How boring is that? That's much better. If the market's a tight range, were they waiting for news outcomes? Potentially. I think if you look at the US stock market, or the stock markets in general, it's like they're waiting for something, some catalyst to happen, and no one is sure which way it's going to, or where it's going to come from. But it is, a bit treading water at the moment, which makes things difficult for us. Means we need to just go down to the shorter time frames. Yeah, Aussie dollar unlikely to continue, but there's no real trade set up at this stage. Euro dollar almost finished its phase 2. Pound, yeah, it's going to struggle. We've kind of covered it. Kiwi, you could do a phase 2 trade on this one tomorrow if you're up for it. Yeah, it's 70 pips, 120 pips. It's a reasonable risk reward. Or if you take it down to here, 220 pips, even better. Dollar yen, as we know, is towards the end of it. Dollar Swiss. So we gave us a ring low, then another ring low. Doesn't look like it's ready to do much else, but RSI is way down here. You'd expect this to rally from here, as you would with this one. This is from my that long-term trend. We were trading this along this cycle before, and we can see the fib from this last time it was on this trend line. We're back on there now. That horizontal is from this high here across there. So what we don't see though is too much diversion. That's 12 and this is 10. So there's no diversion there, but it's certainly overextended. A little loony. So it's having a good run, but it needs to have a bit of a pullback. It's just doing nothing. I don't see anything there. Dollar rand. Again, there's not much there. I'd prefer to be buying this again. China. It's certainly a trend now, isn't it? You can't trade that. It's a bit FOMO trading it from the daily point of view. Momentum's overdone. Might be worth trading it on the shorter, but it's obviously well into phase 1. That's nothing there. Not much there. Bugger all there. Ruble. No divergence. No divergence. Yeah, not much, as you can see, not much to look at really. So, that's it. David, remember the bootcamp you mentioned a news site for Singapore dollar. Couldn't find it in my notes. Euro rand short 24th, but nothing since. Tight and stop. Whilst that's loading, news. economic calendar. Euro Rand. Your short's just the 24th of June. What's that this day, is it? 24th of June. Yeah, look, this is really going nowhere. I'd have my stops above this bar here. Prefer to be short this potentially. But yeah, there's a bit of a risk there, especially with the news out on Thursday. So this website is tradingeconomics.com/calendar. And yeah, you can see all the sort of countries that you can have. Yeah, I'll give you all the news and data. It seems since I saw you scan through all the pairs, you look at a lot more currencies now. That's because there's more currencies here that actually have allowed us to trade, and because no one's given me any emails to go through. So, you know, literally, my inbox is empty, man. So, yeah, that's why I've done that. Right. Well, we've gone through all the currency pairs. Not much to see here. We do have another webinar tomorrow, and then one on Friday, which is Guy Fawkes Day over in the US. They've got a holiday. They've got a holiday on Friday, so their non-farm is coming out Thursday. So I'll see you tomorrow. We'll try and send you a QP. Okay. Going through them is real help. No worries. Good on you guys. Yeah. Well, end of the month today. Don't close out of your trades just because it's the end of the quarter. Yeah. Try and run your trades because there's still value in them, rather than just closing it out. But yeah, otherwise I shall be in touch tomorrow morning. Thanks, guys. Okay. Thanks, Carol. See you guys. We'll chat tomorrow.